Hello, and I'm live. Today, I'm gonna read a story. Hello to everyone. I'm a little upset, but I will be okay. The story for today, in which I am reading from the Civil War, the Phantom Army of the Civil War, and other ghost stories. It's called The Plantation Loving Ghost. Gotta get my spectacles. Where are they? Right here. A tiny old lady had a sentimental mission that kept her high heels tapping about the house late at night. Two dear friends of mine own one of the loveliest plantations in the Carolinas. The house was built before the Civil War by Bert's great-grandparents. The first time I visited there, I expected it to be beautiful, but I was unprepared for the feeling of the warmth and love that poured from the very soul of the well-preserved mansion. Helen Houston and I arrived at dinner time, although we were later than they expected us to be. We were greeted warmly. We ate our delicious dinner with heirloom silver off the priceless antique plates. Our water goblets were old back carrots. Our dinner, we retired to the front parlor and spent the evening with neighbors who came in to meet us. It was Monday. It was midnight before the last goodbye were said. My host and hostess took us up the long stairways and down the wide hall to separate rooms. In my room, Bert turned on the very modern electric lights that barbed the beautiful room in a soft glow. It was a large room with a marble fireplace, gigantic canopy bed, and matching dressers and chairs. Maybe it's just squirrels on the roof, I mumbled to myself sleepily. I settled down on my pillow and dozed off. Tap, tap, click, click, again on the stairs, and straight to my room came the static staccato sound of clicking heels. Wide awake now, I turn on the light. Someone's in trouble, I murmured as I climbed from the bed and reached for my robe. The quick, light footsteps were going back to the staircase. Rushing to the door, I pulled it open. There at the head of the stairs stood a tiny, fragile lady about 70 years old. She held a white porcelain lamp in her left hand, high enough so that it illuminated her face there, in the darkness of the hall. She had a sweet, patient face crowned by the white curls that gleamed in the glow of the lamp. She wears those pile-tipped curls and high heels to make herself taller. I smiled with a rush of tenderness at her girlish vanity. Is something wrong? Can I help? I asked. Smiling, she shook her head, waving her right hand in a gay little salute. Raced down the stairs. I couldn't make it half that fast. I thought as I watched her go with admiring astonishment. It was then I saw the real beauty of her lamp. Around its porcelain surface were entwined little pink roses just like the quilt. Getting back into bed, I looked at my watch. It's now reached 2:30. I put out the light and slept. Adeline and Helen and I were eating breakfast when Bert came in from the tour of his fields. He poured himself a coffee and sat down with us. "How'd you sleep?" He asked the routine questions a perfect host. "Oh, just fine." My answers also was given without thought. Well, hello, Kane. How are you? I'm just going to read stories, and that's about it. My answers also were given without thought. Then I remember the beautiful lady on the stairs, but Bert, who is the lovely little lady? I'm doing good. White hair, high and curled here, myself. I was busy demonstrating in the highest heels. Adeline clattered her coffee cup. I looked at her, and she was staring at me as though I'd lost my mind. "Really, Adeline?" I said. "She woke me up twice last night. The second time I asked her if I could help her, and she just smiled and waved to me." I looked at Bert. He was busy trying to dig a cigarette out of his pack, his hands trembling. I took a deep breath. I knew I'd hurt him in some way. Probably it was a flighty relative who made her home with him. What could I say? What did she look like, and how old was she?" Bert asked, and struck a match for his cigarette. And what did she have on?" Adeline seemed less tense. "In her 70s, I say." That's what I couldn't believe, the high heels. She was very beautiful, wore a white blouse and dark skirt. I smiled. "Honey, it was Grandma," Bert said gently. "High heels and all. She knew she never would wear any other kind." "You were in her group. She moved into it after Grandpa died," Adeline explained, "and we moved downstairs into their suite." Bert got up and poured himself another cup of coffee. "I'd like to meet her. She was probably upset because you put me in her room. I wanted so much to put them at ease about their aging relative." "Grandma died 20 years ago," Bert said. Bert sat down and reached for his sugar bowl. "I've seen, heard, and known about the supernatural all my life, but Grandma wasn't a ghost. Grandma was a warm, loving doll. Warm, living doll." "No," I cried in protest. "No, I saw her. Swift little feet in high heels, and sheen of her white curls in a glow of that lamp. No." Look, they looked at me, and then I knew that they knew what I'd seen. Yeah, tongue twister. She keeps coming back. We wonder if she wants to tell us something." Bert's face was full of concern, and I knew I wanted to talk about it. I tried to take some care of her things as she did, but Adeline sighed, twisting a diamond solitary on her finger. This was hers, too. She gave it to me just before she left, and didn't leave at all." Bert sighed too. You don't like for her to visit?" I asked. "Lord, yes. If that was it, but we have the feeling she wants us to do something." She looked puzzled. I remember the smile Grandma gave me, the wave of her hand. She wasn't sad at all, and she shook her head when I asked if if she wanted help. "Did you ever speak to her?" I asked. Both of them jumped. "Of course not." Adeline answered. But she was warm and loving. No house could feel like this one does without a tremendous amount of love having lived here. Well, of course, and we love her too, Adeline quivered her napkin. We, we still love her and miss her, Bert added. Why don't you tell her so that next time you see her, they don't answer my question? It won't hurt anything. I kept persuading until they agreed to try talking to Grandma. Afterwards, Bert took Helen and me into his office to see pictures of his prized cattle and the blue ribbon they had won. One wall was given over to these trophies. It was a pleasure room. Over his desk he had a group picture of his children, grandchildren, and other members of the family. There, in the center of all of them, was a lovely smiling face with piled up curls. Grandma, I said, pointing to it. Bert smiled. We turned to go, and then I saw it. Grandma's lamp, alone on a marble-top table, each moss rose in place. The lamp was the same moss roses as the quilt. This is the lamp I saw, Bert. Yes, I know. Grandma made the quilt to match it. That night I slept without disturbance. The next morning, Adeline and Bert were at the breakfast table. They jumped up as I came in, and Adeline poured orange juice. Bert filled my coffee cup. Both of them were in high spirits. Did you see Grandma last night? Adeline asked. No, I'm sorry, I didn't. I shook my head. Well, we did, and we spoke to her like you said. Adeline's eyes filled with tears. I'm so happy, she sniffed. I said to her, Grandma, we love you. And you know what? Bert was filled with wonders as he said this, and his face shone with joy of it all. What? I asked. Grandma smiled at both of us. Then she was gone. They spoke again of Grandma's loving kindness, her ability, and most of all, her patience. Her patience, just think she was waiting around all these years just to hear us speak to her. Bert's eyes glowed. There's nothing like it. Just nothing like it. Her love would not let her go until we knew she still lived. Yeah, here's your stories for the day. I'm gonna go find something to watch on YouTube, and I'll be back on at 10 o'clock tonight. Love to all. Have a good night. Oh, have a good day.